What's up, everybody? It's been a little over 2 months since my initial early hero tier list. This one also didn't include any god/demon faction heroes. I was new to the game, didn't want to put anything out there that I wasn't too sure about. But now, since I'm 102 days in, well, on this count at least, I think my very first account, which is my free-to-play, I'm like 110, 115 days in. So almost 4 months, taking up multiple accounts to try my best to build up various heroes. I can now drop an official hero tier list video. Let's just say it's not going to be 100% accurate, nothing ever is. Still haven't tested all the heroes, but this will be enough to set up everyone for success in this game. I do have my own download link for the game if you are new and you're interested in giving this a go. It will be in the video description and the pinned comment. It helps support the channel and gives me that motivation to continue making content when I can. So wasting no more time, let's get it. This list will be in my Google document for the game. Everything I have is in the video description. It looks best in light mode, but I do know some people prefer dark mode as it's easier on the eyes. Honestly, my Google Doc has a ton of info for this game. I don't update it as frequently anymore, but I still am adding or making changes. So how this is organized, we have the SS tier, which is the current meta. We have the S tier, which is strong everywhere. We have the A tier, which is strong but situational, meaning the heroes might be good at bosses, might be good for PvP, or might be good for content pushing. We have the B tier, which is fillers for multi-team use, meaning PvP, regular or faction tower, events, etc. And then we have the C tier, which is I've used as hero food. Now these may be good heroes, I just never had any use for them in any of the content I've done so far, but because like any other idle gacha, you need hero food to improve your current heroes. I simply made this category in case you want to feed these ones because I haven't seen any negative impacts on my accounts doing so. I won't be going in depth here, otherwise the video is going to be like 30 minutes long, so I'll leave out talents and just highlight certain heroes and their skill kit and why I chose to place them in the category I did. Let's start off with the question everyone asks. What are the strong heroes in this game? As of right now, I feel this is the current meta for the game. You have Demon Hu Yi, you have Demon Quillin, and you have the Ranger Leader. You can see I have a little info box beside saying after you invest into these three, you can work on 2 from the below tiers depending on what your setup lacks or your goals are. Demon Hu Yi, amazing all around, strong AoE damage. With an invested one, you can definitely one-shot an enemy team after his rip effect damage over time stacks up. So from his ultimate, Heart Piercing, eventually can release 6 dark arrows which apply that rip damage effect. Once these start to do damage per turn, you'll see the enemy's HP just drop. On top of that, as long as he survives, at the end of each turn he's doing additional AoE damage with Arrow Array that has improved damage based on the number of rip effect stacks the enemies have. So you can see how this hero is a content pushing machine, and when you spec into his Heart Formation talent, it provides team damage reduction. But the biggest draw is his summon event, which opens on week 2 of a new server, giving more opportunity for his copies than any other hero in the game, especially this early on. Moving over to Demon Quillin, one of the strongest all-around heroes I've seen. This hero can buff/heal with his natural power passive, controls 4 elements which are gained through various triggers, and heals an ally with the lowest HP when gaining one. Each element can be stacked up to 5 times, and when all of them are maxed, Demon Quillin gets stronger, basically goes into his ultimate form. Great for long battles like boss fights. Everything is ramped up after each turn. He now heals all of your heroes, not just the one with the lowest HP. These elements each do something different in the form of buffs. The wind increases team speed, the fire increases team attack, the thunder increases team hit, and the lightning increases team def ignore. This hero can also tank with Quillin armor, boosts his damage reduction, making him an option as a frontline tank or off tank. This hero can do damage with his ultimate Moon Chasing, multi-hitting basic attack which has true damage attached to it. Then when he transforms into his ultimate, when you get all those elemental stacks maxed, it's constant AoE damage. Like I said, this hero can do it all. And then we have the Ranger Leader. Ridiculous damage, single target potential, one-shot capability due to multi-attack, has counter attack, has CC in the form of stun potential, has AoE. Like, this hero is pretty stacked. What I really like is her ultimate. It has the chance of doing a follow-up basic attack after the one-shot heavy hitting damage, which can go up to a 330% multiplier, and the follow-up probability increases to 75%, plus triggers additional attacks. It's icing on the cake to help eliminate an enemy threat in one turn. Burst Forth is interesting as well. If she receives damage which does a certain amount of her HP, it triggers an AoE attack. Very strong and interesting hero, great for bosses and great for carrying content. So these three heroes all are ranger class, which makes it easier for stat distribution when looking into the guild skill and class cultivation, and all have great synergy together with a combination of single target / AoE damage and buff / survivability to excel in both PvP and PvE. They are safe options to invest into that will carry you till the end of your time playing, or unless new heroes are introduced that can take their spot. Now after these three, you're probably going to see a few reoccurring heroes from many players using them, or players suggesting them in the UltimateMyth Discord from the categories below. I will give a brief, short and sweet highlight, and they are as followed. In the S tier, we have God Kuofu. This hero will complement your lineup, providing a team shield with his ultimate Rock Guardian. However, he requires a lot of investment as this skill consumes his HP, and when his HP is insufficient, he can't use his ultimate. Meaning low investment, he will take more damage, have less HP quicker, and may not even be able to utilize this skill. Also has an interesting battle effect with his sun chasing passive. When an enemy hero moves, they get the exhaustion status, which reduces their energy recovery that's needed to use their ultimate, plus they take true damage. This hero does a lot of true damage, which makes him one of the higher DPS tank class heroes in the game, but like I said, won't shine till high investment. I personally chose not to invest into him just because everyone seems to be using him, so I wanted to try other heroes in the game. Then there's Nua. This hero is easy to gain copies of because most likely everyone's going to be going for the monster faction for Wukong, so naturally you will probably get a lot of Nua copies as well. Good healing and attaches a hefty attack buff / revive to the hero who acts after her. She is great for boosting your main DPS carry damage, and if you do invest into her talent Earth Power, at level 4 it looks like she can give all allies a fatal damage protection buff. This can definitely help in certain situations. Then we have Wukong. Now I did make an info box next to Wukong because many will invest into him early for easy content progression, but he will eventually be replaced, so just be mindful with how much you actually invest into him. I think taking him to 15 stars is fine, but just weigh your options when looking at like the talent / shapeshift resources. I personally still use him and he does great on certain bosses with his AoE, but many will drop him from their main 5 hero lineup to replace with like a god / demon faction hero. With that in mind, still very strong content pusher. You'll use him early, mid, late. Like I said, I still use him. You'll see his damage numbers are very impressive even early on with low star investment. Adds his own AoE damage over time called the Fire Eye effect, which is another popular reason why you see him paired so much with Demon Hu Yi, to capitalize on all those dots, which is damage over time, and gets a significant bump in damage by triggering his true damage from his Monkey Origin passive when there's enemies with the Rip effect debuff on the battlefield. The A tier has the Assassin Leader. I have been working on my Assassin only account, so I do have some feedback about this hero. I did put out a recent video trying out Assassin heroes, where I go into a bit more detail if you wanted to check that out. Clickable at the end of this video, but basically early on Assassin Leader suffers early because he needs that high investment. I really only see players using him if they're going to use more assassins in their main team, which is why I placed him in the A tier, because to me, his options are limited and not one of those plug and play heroes that work in every setup. He has decent damage and utilizes the dodge mechanic a lot, so placing him in the front line to act as an off tank is a viable option. Then I'm going to talk about He Xianggu. I think a lot of players don't utilize her enough. I personally don't like her outside bosses because of how her ultimate works, which is really nice by the way, but Lotus Barrier removes the enemy's target's energy to 0. However, placement is needed because enemy setups change, especially in content like Tower or PvP. The enemy opposite of her will be targeted. This to me limits her usability, which is why I only have her in A tier and not S tier. When using her in a defense lineup, the opponent can just swap their heroes around to avoid that energy removal on an important one. But yeah, the reason I use her a lot in bosses is that same skill. Lotus Barrier gives a nice energy boost beginning of each round, plus an attack buff to all your allies, so this is a very loaded skill, very handy for boosting those boss DPS numbers. Now for soul collectors, I'm not gonna lie here, I think this hero is mediocre at everything they do, which is why I have an A tier, while I think some would say deserves that S tier ranking. Damage is meh, healing is meh. Really, out of everything they do, it's one buff and a talent skill that I personally would utilize. The skill is black and white, but this has its limitations based off your team's speed and the enemy's. If your speed is less than the enemy, soul collectors go into defensive state, using the white soul collector. This skill for me, black and white's main purpose is to buff your team's damage, but it only gets triggered when soul collector's in the attacking state, using the black soul collector. So the hero's purpose, at least for my criteria, is limited. PvP is where you're going to see speed mattering the most against other players. So if it's lower than the enemy, instead of a team attack buff, you get a team damage reduction buff. Boss fights, it's not going to be a problem. You're going to be getting that attack buff, and if you pair that up with their talent, 3 and out, which works off the Black Soul Collector as well, which is in the offensive state, they reduce the target's defense, meaning your team does more damage. Now, I could be too harsh on this hero. I think they are a solid help for your team. I just prefer other heroes to fill up this spot. Maybe if I ever get around to investing more into them, I might have my opinion change and their ranking might go up a spot. And then we have Tank Leader. I don't really have much bad things to say. He serves his purpose in the game. Nice shield, energy reduction, relatively tanky. It's just there's many regular or god/demon heroes that can fill this role better. And you're only allowed one leader in a team, so Ranger Leader is just bonkers, busted to the T. So I don't really see a reason to invest heavily into the Tank Leader, but just use as a second or third team filler. There are other heroes in here that I won't be covering in this video, such as say God Wukong. I'm gonna mention him right now because you most likely will see many players investing into him since they figure Wukong is strong, so his God version must be stronger. Well, I feel like he's a trap hero. Mediocre damage, low skill probability with his stun chance. His clones are interesting, but it's just not worth the investment for a god/demon hero. In my opinion, there's just way better options. Other heroes I didn't mention, but I am building across my accounts are like Demon Tianyu, God Liu Chen, Sister Shiju, Jin Qi, Princess Fan, Shenong, or Fangdu Emperor. But the problem with this game is so many of the regular faction heroes are just not necessary to build. The way the game is designed, I feel it doesn't have enough game modes to utilize such a wide variety of hero investment. All you really need to do is invest into your main 5, make them strong, they will carry you even if you plug and play some of them into a second or third team. Now, disclaimer, you can build any hero. You can build heroes I haven't mentioned. You can build heroes in the lower tiers that I've placed. Maybe you think they're higher. I'm just letting you know the heroes that are the easiest and safest route to progress based off my time playing the game. If you're a free-to-play or even a spender, starting off with this will help you progress fast, and then you can venture off and work on other heroes. Quick example would be if I go into the S tier category. Chang Q, Chang Quinn, I don't know how to say the name, is an awesome support, has heals, decent damage, and a debuff remover, because a lot of the popular heroes do add debuffs, like I mentioned with Demon Hu Yi and Wukong. You just don't see him as often because most just run 1, maybe 2 supports in their main lineup, and typically it's going to be Nuwa and or God Liu Chen. This tier list will be updated throughout my time playing until whenever I decide to quit, so I would check back with my Google Doc from time to time to see if there's any changes. If you do have any heroes you think deserve different placements, feel free to leave a comment down below. This is just from one person's opinion. I haven't tested everything. I don't know everything. This is what I feel has worked for me and what I view are the heroes in this game potential as of right now. I did make an early game hero tier list video, which I mentioned earlier, clickable at the end of this one, in case you wanted to check that one out. But like I said, I didn't include god/demon heroes in that one, but I do believe I go into more detail for certain heroes and give tips throughout the video. As always, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.